Welcome back to Crypto Fitness. Today I am going to be joined by none other than Dave Weiss. And let me bring him on. Hello, Dave. How are you?
What's going on? How you doing?
Not too bad. Just interested to learn more about this flat Earth thing that we got going on here.
That's all we ask. As long as we're just looking for people that are interested in learning rather than just believing the Earth was a globe. And then someone said, "Well, why do you believe that?" And I couldn't come up with one reason. I thought I came up with like 10 reasons: boats over the horizon, sticks and shadows from Aristophanes, seasons, day and night. And then when I looked into it, I'm like, "Oh wow, oh wow."
So when did you when did this all start for you? Like, what? Tell me your backstory. When did you first run into flat Earth theory, and how did you get into it?
Well, I'm insulted that you're calling it a theory. So I'm just kidding, actually. It's the globe is the theory. You'll find out the globe is the conspiracy theory. But I was doing a podcast on other deceptions of this world, and people started sending me flat Earth stuff, and I'm like, that's so friggin' dumb. Delete message. You're banned from our social media. And then I was forced to look into it by a friend, Sophia Smallstorm, who's a researcher into some events that are well known. And I tried to debunk it. And, I went in with a closed mind. You're coming in with an open mind going, teach me. I went in with a closed mind and ended up as a flat earther. So you're toast. It's over. The globe is finished for you. It's finished. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yes. I mean, I would say that I'm more like, I've heard people talk about the flat Earth theory before, or and again, I'm like completely new to this, so I don't know any terminology or anything like that. Yeah. I've never done my own research on it. I'm literally just like, hey, like, what is this all about?
Yeah, sorry about that. My cat is just causing havoc.
No worries.
Yeah, what happened to my background?
I don't know. That one looks pretty interesting though.
Wait, it's gone though. It's gone now. It's there. Now it's gone. There it is. This is my Richard Hart background. I got my spinning
yes, I love
clocks.
it.
I got my spinning clocks. I have all my pillows, throw pillows.
It's awesome. Love it. When did you get into like crypto and Hex? Like, how did you find Hex? And did you find flat Earth before Hex or after or
I found flat Earth before Hex because I've been in flat Earth since 2015.
Okay.
And Robbie Davidson, who he's the one that got me into Hex. He called me up one day. I was into crypto for a while before that. And he's like, "Dave, this thing Hex." And he started telling me about it. I'm like, I don't fully understand, but here's some money, right? And I threw some money at it on day one. And then when the staking came, I made a ladder. I did all sorts of stuff. And here I am. I mean, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been into flat Earth then before that. So when did I guess like when did that start for you? Like how long have you been in flat Earth for?
Well, flat Earth 2015, 2016, I started looking into it, trying to debunk it. And then when I realized, wow, the Earth is definitely not a globe flying through an infinite space vacuum, that's when it all kind of comes together. And then what happens is a smart person's like, well, what about this? What about this? And they start naming all these different things. And then when somebody or when they are shown how those things aren't real, and how they actually work, like sunsets, we'll get into all of that in a little bit. You finally throw up your hands and you go, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? What difference does the shape of the Earth make? It doesn't affect my life. I still have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that not knowing where you are, who you are, what you are, what this place is, and what power you have is unimportant. You are literally Stockholm syndrome to the squared and to the 10th power. Saying that not knowing where you live or who you are or what's going on in this world doesn't matter. That's Stockholm syndrome.
Okay. All right. So tell me, like, so give me the rundown. Like what like how should we start this? What are the main arguments against, because I've always been taught that the Earth is spherical, the moon is spherical, the Earth, the moon revolves around the Earth, Earth and Moon revolve around the Sun, et cetera, et cetera. So
don't you find it odd?
take me through. Let's start going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Don't you find it odd that is the worksheet that you brought home in kindergarten or first grade? The orbits of the sun and the moon and the planets.
Mm-hmm.
You had to like draw lines and everything. The indoctrination starts really early. I'm sucking on a cough drop, so excuse me.
All good.
All right. So I was showing all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm not just going to believe a YouTube video. And I went out and I bought a Nikon P900 super zoom camera, and I went to the edge, down to the water, and on a spherical world, there has to be a physical horizon. So if my fingernail's a boat and I'm sailing away,
Mm-hmm.
it goes over a physical horizon. If you zoom in, you still can't see it because there's a physical horizon here. Right?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, right.
On a flat Earth, the horizon is not physical. Okay? Let me just find out the image I want. Wrong one. Hold on. So on a flat Earth, the horizon is not physical. It's an optical horizon. This got a little messed up here. Here we go. So where is it? There it is. So when I say optical horizon, the sky meets the ground due to perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at clouds in the sky, they're over your head, but the clouds 20, 30 miles away, they're touching the water. And you know that they're not. It's just a optical thing. So here we go. Oops. We have a empty horizon here. And as I'm zooming in, so the horizon's right here.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm zooming in, I'm increasing the angular size of that horizon. And all of a sudden, you can see there's a boat there.
Right.
Because I'm increasing your angular size. Your eye cannot see that boat when it's smaller. Now, as I zoom out, it's the same as the boat going away. Look at this boat. It's disappearing from the bottom up. And this is an optical thing, not a physical thing. So I told you I got my super zoom camera and I zoomed in on the beach across Long Island Sound 7 miles away. And I could see, I'm sitting at the edge of the water. I could see people sitting at the edge of the water. Well, 7 miles is 7 times 7 is 49 times 8. We'll call that 400 inches divided by 12. That's a lot of feet. I can see people sitting on the water. And if the Earth is the size that they tell us, they should be hidden behind that physical curve. But I could see them. So maybe the Earth is bigger is the first thing. Then we start looking in, and there's other people doing stuff with infrared cameras out there, and they're seeing things that would require the Earth to be 1,000 times bigger than it is, right? I don't care the shape of the Earth. If it's 1,000 times bigger, there's still a big problem, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
follow.
Yeah. So that was the first thing, right? Then I started looking into the heliocentric system. Now I was asked some questions. Hey Dave, how fast is the Earth spinning at the equator? Do you know? Jay, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's spinning. And by the way, you're not here defending the globe. You're here asking questions. That's fantastic. But people that defend the globe, you ask them that, they go, I don't know. And it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. 1,000 miles an hour. Think about that. 1,000 miles an hour is faster than the speed of sound. Okay. And it's orbiting the sun while it's spinning in a space vacuum. That's a whole. I mean, I try not to tell the whole helio-nonsensical bullshit model in one sentence because it sounds so crazy that it's like, why did you ever believe it?
Oh, okay. So hold on. So in that model though,
yeah,
isn't it plausible to because the Earth, like if you think about it, the Earth is massive, right? I think the Earth, we can't really comprehend like how truly big it is. I think it's like so to, at least to me. So like from when I think about it, like if the Earth truly is huge, then it's spinning.
Yeah, you wouldn't notice it, right? You wouldn't notice
it.
Yeah,
you wouldn't notice it.
So you know what? One day I'm gonna do an actual interview, and I'm gonna interview myself because we're all programmed with the same things. It's too big to notice. And then the next thing you might say is, "What about I can drink a glass of water on an airplane, right?" And I'm moving, and I don't notice that. These are programmed responses that were all put into us.
Okay.
So let's just finish these speeds for a second.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour. Very funny number, right? All these 666s come up in the heliocentric demonic system, I call it. And we're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. Okay. So let's just take a look at what that looks like. Okay. And this is the hypersonic sled track, right? Is it gonna play? Oh, you know what? I can't even pull that up. My hypersonic sled track is gone. All right. Well, this is the fastest rocket on a track, and it goes Mach 8.6. It goes by so fast you can't even see it. Just look.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, you might have seen it because I played it in every video I do. But just look it up. Yeah, you've probably seen it on a science show. Mach 8.6. You have to believe that we are going faster. We are going 10 times faster than that around the sun, and we're going 100 times faster than that chasing the sun. Okay, and
yeah,
all of that,
I can see your point.
Yeah, and all of that we go out in nature and we can find places like this. Now,
yeah,
what is going on here? Right? Get a plate of water and try to walk around your house or take a drive in a car, even on a perfectly smooth road going on cruise control. Mm-hmm. The car speeds up, slows down, or turns. The water is just all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. Neil deGrasse Tyson says, due to the spin of the Earth, I used to think this was the coolest thing ever. The water bulges at the equator 14 miles high, but the Earth is so massive that when NASA takes a picture of it from space, you can't notice that 14 miles high because it's insignificant. Right? It's smoother than a cue ball. If you reduce the Earth down to the size of a cue ball, it would be smoother with all of its hills and valleys. I say baloney.
Bullshit.
Okay. Yeah, bullshit. All right. I don't know. I don't like to swear on other people's shows, but now the coast is clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So think about that also. If I'm flying from North America to South America, at what point do I triple my altitude? Because planes fly at like 5 miles up. What point do I climb another 9 or 10 miles just to skim over a hump of water, right? Think about the centrifugal force of the Earth spinning. Water has no ability to resist that, so it's all going to go to the equator. But we don't see that. We see lakes like this. Go to the Maldives. The Maldives are islands on the equator in the Indian Ocean that are a foot or two above the water, and there's like no tide there. There's no swell. The water's not crooked, because if it's going 14 miles high, you'd have to go up that ramp and have a level would be crooked, right? It doesn't exist. This is what mainstream science tells us. All right, insanity. So if you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, right? Compare that to an airplane. Well, people, when they say I could drink water, I can take a walk on the airplane, I say, well, first, you got to remove the outside of the airplane because the Earth doesn't have an outer shell. You have to double the speed of the airplane because the airplane's only going 500 miles an hour. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. And then you have to nose down the airplane 30 miles every hour just to maintain your altitude. Right? Because you know what? I'm sorry. At 500 miles an hour, in 1 hour, you're 30 miles. There's 30 miles of drop. At 1,000 miles an hour, it's probably like 150 miles of drop, right? So you have to nosedive a mile a minute just to maintain your altitude. What happens when you're taking a little nap on an airplane, you're getting about a half hour from your destination, pilot slowly starts to just slowly descend, you wake up right away. You're like, oh my God, we're changing altitudes.
Yeah.
Okay. Airplanes fly straight and level over the earth plane. Words are very important, right? Airplane, sea level, right? Mm-hmm. The earth is a horizontal plane, and large bodies of water at rest lay flat. All right.
True.
Think about that. So here's the construct of the world, and this is the one that usually brings it home. Okay. A puddle. What is a puddle? A puddle is where water accumulates, like after a rainstorm. Where does water accumulate?
in lower,
Very good.
usually in concave sort of structures.
In a depression in the water,
Yeah.
in a depression in the land. And what forms the edge of that puddle?
I guess it depends on how much water is there.
Well, I mean, at the edge of the puddle, what's there holding the puddle from going farther?
Land.
Right. The land is higher than the puddle, right?
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. This isn't hard. Everyone
Yeah.
thinks it's a trick question. So a pond is a bigger puddle.
Right. Okay.
A lake is a bigger pond. The lake needs a container. The container is the land that's consistently higher all the way around it. Get a backhoe, dig out some of that land, make it lower than the pond, and the water is going to go find the next, spot to level itself out in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The world pond is very similar. I call the whole world a pond. And these are all of the continents, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all surrounded by water, but the water needs a container. The water is surrounded by this land. This is the highest land on Earth. They tell us Antarctica is a continent at the bottom of the globe. They tell us it's the highest land on Earth also. But they tell us it's a continent at the bottom of the globe. Nobody's allowed to explore the inner lands of Antarctica. No one's allowed to fly over Antarctica. No one has successfully circumnavigated Antarctica in a period of time that would say, yeah, it is around 10,000 miles around, right? The last person to try to do that was Captain Cook, and it took him 3.5 years. He went over 60,000 miles. How's that possible? Right?
Yeah,
we
that's
live in the Antarctic basin. Okay. We live here. Antarctica is the container for the world pond. The world is 70% water. I think it's a lot more than that. 70% water. Water lays flat when at rest. A wave, yes, that's not water at rest. A drop of water, that's a drop of water. Surface tension. Anything bigger than a gallon of water at rest lays flat.
So I got a question then.
Shoot.
How are because you hear about natural disasters like tsunamis and hurricanes. So in this model, how does a tsunami happen? Or in this, I don't even know what you'd call it, because again, I'm new. I don't even know how you'd I said theory, right? But
Yeah.
apparently that's not the right
terminology,
right? So
listen, here's the thing. Flat earthers know that we don't know a lot of stuff. We also know a lot of stuff, but we also know that we don't have the answers to everything. Globers think they know everything, and they absolutely know nothing. They can't come up with a single reason, why the Earth is a globe, right? Why they think it's a globe. They really have nothing. But the problem is they were never taught to think about it. They were told, hey, Earth is a globe, and that's the way it is. So this is the Gleason's map right here. This is the best map that we have. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. Okay. Antarctica is around here. Captain Cook went around. He basically tried to circumnavigate Antarctica, and he went all the way around here. Well, the equator is halfway between the center and the outside here. And the equator, they tell us, is 24,000 miles around, right? The Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour, 24 hours to go around. Makes perfect sense on a globe, right? So out here on a flat Earth, it'd have to be bigger. Well, he went over 60,000 miles, right? When it should have been 10.
Yeah, that's
right, because it's supposed to get smaller at the bottom
right.
instead of being stretched out. A lot of people say, this map is just a projection of the globe, right? It's just a projection. I say the globe is a projection of this map. It's wrapped around a sphere, and this shows you, the flat Earth map shows you how things work. Airplanes follow the flat Earth map. That's what they use. No pilot brings a globe into the cockpit with them.
That's true.
Right? Yeah. Well, it better be true. I'm not going on a plane with that guy. So show you a couple things. So let me ask you a question. On a globe, right? on a globe, if you got the north at the top, south at the bottom, you have the equator in the middle. If you're going from any two locations, from northern location to another northern location, any combination of any two northern locations, would that plane ever need to drop below the equator?
No.
All right, very good. And they don't. They never do. How about in the south? If you're in the south, any two southern locations, would a plane have to drop below that location? Would it ever go up and cross the equator and then come back down?
No, because you're going south.
Right. Well, you're going from a southern location to a southern location. Unfortunately, southern flights do it all the time. Okay. So this one from Santiago to Johannesburg goes all the way up to, what does that say? I can't see it.
Senegal?
Senegal. It goes all the way up here and all the way down. But when you look at that on a flat Earth map, it's pretty much a straight line. Right? Why would they go all the way up to Senegal when they could just keep on going down? Here's another one. Okay. Montevideo to Perth. Okay. Why do they go to Los Angeles? Right? It's all the way up here. Why don't they just go bam on the globe?
Yeah.
But they don't. They go here. They cross the equator twice. No two northern flights, northern origin to destination, northern to northern, ever crosses the equator. But southern ones do it all the time. If the Earth was a globe, things that happen in the north should also happen in the south.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, let's look at another one. These are good. Here's another one. Machu Picchu. Plenty of people want to go there. All the way up to Los Angeles again. Straight line. Pretty straight line. Not always that straight, but pretty straight. Okay. Another one. We got Auckland to Lima, Peru. Plenty of people want to go to Auckland. You know, the Globers will go, well, they got to go stop in Los Angeles to pick up other passengers. These planes are full. Okay. And from here to here on a globe, it's pretty close to the same distance from here to here. Why would you make it double the distance?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Is double the distance. Okay. And at the end, we're going to get to why the live. The people that are your crypto people in there. And, by the way, I'm in crypto. I'm a Hexagon since day one.
Yeah.
I'm no dummy. Okay. This is the biggest deception. Money is a big deception. And the way they've been getting away with all of this nonsense in the world, with fiat currency and, wars and the boogeyman floating in the air that's going to get you unless you have a piece of paper over your mouth. Okay. The way they're getting away with it, people are lost in space, spinning out of control. They don't know who they are. They don't know anything. If you can convince somebody that they're spinning on a rock flying through an infinite vacuum, which breaks every law of thermodynamics, you can't have high pressure next to a vacuum without a barrier. Okay. I don't believe space is a vacuum. But I do believe there is a barrier, but not because space is a vacuum.
So what do you think the barrier is?
That's a great question. I don't know what it's made of, but I think it's a physical barrier. I think as you get up above 72 miles, the air becomes thicker, becomes plasma, maybe it becomes liquid, and then it becomes solid, right? And I say that because of just all the stuff I've learned together. And we had a NASA whistleblower, unconfirmed, guy was communicating with me for a while, and then he disappeared just when it was starting to get interesting. And he says that, NASA has the ability to go up and explore this area, but they're forbidden to. Okay. They're not allowed to. All right. The whole going into space, that's a whole other thing. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah. Because I got several questions about that.
Yeah. So again, look, bam, all the way up here, all the way down there, straight line. Let me just show you a couple other things. So NASA, do you believe we went to the moon?
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you is how. So
my litmus test.
All I know is that there's been videos of showing people going to the moon, and that's all I have to go off of. That's all I can trust. Obviously it's been indoctrinated in kindergarten, middle school, so like
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would say that I believe it, but
We
I'm
went we
open
went
to
to the
hear.
moon in the 1960s and 70s with a Nintendo, and
Yeah.
we've lost the technology and can't build it back again 50 years later,
No,
and we
I've thought
can't we
about
can't get
that.
above low Earth orbit.
And that doesn't make sense to me. So
Thank you.
explain to me,
Yeah.
like
So wait, we'll get into that. Let's finish
okay,
this.
all right.
So airlines, international flight routes are all controlled by NASA. Radar is all controlled by NASA. GPS is all controlled by NASA. Okay, interesting, right? So sometimes on an airplane, there's an emergency, so they have to land the plane. So here's a flight from New York to Hawaii, and they had an emergency, and they landed all the way up here in Seattle. That's like
That's where I
a
am.
1,000 miles out of the way.
Yeah.
But on a flat Earth, Seattle's right on the line.
Hmm.
Okay. Again, that could just be a coincidence, right? Another emergency landing. London to Islamabad. They went 1,000 miles out of the way to Moscow, all the way up here. Moscow's right on that line. How many times could
Interesting.
this happen, right? Another emergency landing. We had um, Dallas to Beijing. They went all the way up to Calgary. Calgary happens to be right on the line on a flat Earth map, right? We'll do one more. Chicago to Doha, went all the way to Moscow again. Moscow must have a really good airport and a really good hospital that they're going to travel. I don't know. I mean, how long did it take to get there if this was their flight route? That would take another couple of hours, right?
Yeah.
Right on the line. Okay. How many times could this happen? Do you want to take a guess?
As many times as there are flights,
Well,
planes
there's
flying.
a book called 16 Emergency Landings. It's a fantastic coffee table book. You can get it at lulu.com, or you can get the free download on free PDF online. Either way, I just love it as a coffee table book because anytime someone comes over to your house, they pick up the book, read it a little bit, and they become a flat earther. So I'm a big fan of this book. But there's actually 17 now because there was another one documented, and again, landed right on the line.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Very interesting.
So you want to talk about NASA, which was formed by the founder of Scientology, a cartoon producer, an ex-Nazi, an occultist, and Aleister Crowley, the most wicked man in the world. These are the people that started friggin' NASA. Come on. I mean, it's an occult story. Now, why did they start NASA? And the answer is to hide where you live, to hide what this place is. So in 1940s and 50s, we started exploring Antarctica. Admiral Byrd went out there. You know who Admiral Byrd is?
I don't know.
He was one of the youngest admirals at the time, exploring Antarctica with Operation High Jump. And he said on this news conference, he happens to have a flat Earth map behind him with a clock on it. Fascinating. He said that he discovered more land past the South Pole, bigger than the United States. No human has ever set foot upon, and it is filled with resources that could supply the whole world forever. And so immediately they said, oh, no, we can't have that. Antarctic Treaty goes into place. 13 nations at the time signed it. Now all the nations have signed it. Nobody is allowed to independently explore Antarctica since 1959. The Antarctic Treaty is in place until the year, I think, 2041, and it can't even be questioned. Okay.
So
No.
couldn't that be because of maybe like military sites, like
Well, that's what
black
they
ops
tell
sites?
us. They tell us. But, again, if you go look on Google Earth, you know how they take the pictures of Google Earth? Now, they're supposedly from satellites. They're really just from the Google plane taking pictures like the cars did on the ground. And they overlay the pictures all over, and they line them all up, right? But they got to wrap them on a ball, so they don't always line up perfectly. It's interesting that you got all of these square segments of these pictures put around, except on the poles, those are pizza slices.
Yeah, I have noticed that actually.
Yeah, they're pizza slices in the poles. Because maybe they're bringing something together. They're hiding more They're hiding more land, maybe. They're hiding more ocean. Okay.
So
So
why would the Antarctica be cold then?
because they're very good. We'll get into that and let's do that right now. Actually, that's a great one. So this is my app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and it teaches you all about flat Earth. Because if you Google flat Earth, you get nothing but garbage. And the way you can prove that is, Google any term. Go on YouTube and say circumnavigation on a flat Earth, or top 10 reasons Earth is flat, or whatever. If it says flat Earth in it, you get the same propaganda nonsense again and again and again. And it's all fed to us to keep us away from the truth. After the Antarctic Treaty, all of a sudden they go, the moon, we're going to the moon, right? And everyone, don't look over here, look over here to this place that you could never go, and that we can trick you with a Walt Disney and Aleister Crowley and the nonsense. And when you go look at the moon, if you go look at the moon, we'll get back to the why Antarctica is cold. We supposedly went to the moon in this. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Look at this thing. Okay.
Looks like some metal wrapped in foil.
It's actually paper mache, some metallic tape, some curtain rods, some duct tape. Not even duct tape. I don't think they use duct tape, right? Tin foil. Look at this crap.
Yeah,
right?
that's
This thing went to the moon, right? There was 2 guys in here wearing diapers, a car. Okay, right? Look at this thing, and if you zoom in, look at the fittings on this thing.
yeah.
Look at that. This thing is supposed to be airtight, right? You see what happens when you change the pressure in something? You ever see the train car that crunches on itself when they suck the air out of it?
Yeah.
Right? This thing would explode. Bam! Right? And they even admit that it's paper thin. Like nobody's thinking. Nobody's thinking. All right. So just so you understand how it's cold. So the sky is a clock, right? The sun is the hour hand. It's pinned to the hour hand right here.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
And it goes around once every
24 hours.
Very good. It's once every 24 hours. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. Okay. Now you see how the day and the night here are pretty equal?
Yeah.
That's because we're getting close to the equinox, right? So this outer yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn. The inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. Does your brain hurt yet, by the way?
No, I'm taking it in. I'm just it's hard to follow along, but I'm taking it in.
Yeah. So here's the thing: when I'm doing this to people that have no idea, at this point they go, "My brain hurts," and that's because just like Neo in the Matrix, when he goes, "Why do my eyes hurt?" He goes, "Because you've never used them." Right?
Yeah.
Crypto people that are willing to listen, they're like, I get this. I get it. I'm listening. I'm taking it in, because crypto people have actually used their brain recently to actually calculate numbers and think about things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's a compliment. All right. So the sun goes around once every 24 hours. It laps the moon once every 28 days. So the sun keeps track of the hours and the day. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. Right?
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And so the phase of the moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. So with the position and the phase. So when it catches up to the moon, there'll be a new moon. That's a whole nother story. We'll get into the moon in a little bit. And then if I slow it down and we turn the stars on, the stars are going in the same direction as the sun and the moon. But in school, they taught us that, well, the moon's going backwards around the earth. The sun, the earth is going forward around the sun. The moon, it doesn't spin, but the earth spins to the east, right? And people just short circuit. They don't know what's going on, right? So the stars are going slightly faster than the sun. Now, remember, the sun's going faster than the moon, where it'll lap it every 28 times around, okay? Right. The stars will lap the sun once every 365 days around. So think about that. You go out tonight and look at the stars. You'll sit down like the corner of your house and say, okay, I see that little star pattern, and you draw it and say, all right, that's right next to my house. It's 10 o'clock at night. And then put an alarm in your calendar, and next year, same night, same time, go out, sit in the same spot, and those stars will be in the exact same position that they were last year, even though we're 4.4 billion miles in another spot in space. Right?
Yeah. I actually have noticed that before. Yes.
The stars reset every year. So the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. The sky is a clock. All right. So now let's talk about why it's cold in Antarctica. So Antarctica is out here. It's everything outside
Right.
of our pond, right? What's out here? We don't know.
More
We're not allowed to
land,
go there, but
maybe?
we can speculate. We'll get into that. Okay. And this is the North Pole. So this is the Arctic region, and everything outside of Capricorn is the Antarctic region. You with me?
Yep.
So everything in between the two tropics is called, want to guess?
No idea.
It's all of the tropics. It's called the tropics, right? It's called the tropics because it's in between the tropics. The sun takes 6 months to go out to the Tropic of Capricorn and then 6 months to go back. Now watch, I'm going to jump it 1 month at a time, and you can watch the date. April on the top left, May, and then June. And look at the sun. June, it's hot in Miami. You know why? Because the sun goes directly over Miami. Look, right there. It's hot in Mexico and Southern California because the sun is very close. It's hot in all of the north because the sun is close. Now, I'm up here in Connecticut. Where are you at?
Seattle.
All right. So the sun gets closer in June. It's closer, so it's higher in the sky. Think of streetlights. The streetlight over your head is your summer sun, and the streetlight down the road is your winter sun. It's farther away, therefore it's lower. Even though it's
Right.
the same height, it's lower. It's farther.
Yeah.
It's winter in Australia because the sun is far away. But 6 months later, the
It's
sun
summer.
moves all the way out. It's summer, and the sun's so far away from us, we're freezing our asses off going, what the hell are we doing living here? Why aren't we in Mexico?
Yeah.
Right? I heard a rumor that Mexico made Bitcoin legal tender, but I think it's just a rumor.
I heard that too, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think
let's
it's
just pretend
chatter.
it's real for now. Okay, we'll make it real by thinking it into existence.
Yeah, exactly.
So Antarctica, the sun never gets any closer than December 21st. After December 21st, it starts marching back in, away from Antarctica. Now, I don't believe Antarctica is as cold as they tell us. Right in the app here, if you hit the question mark button, and you go to the Antarctica button here, up comes a playlist, and there's all sorts of stuff about Antarctica, amazing stuff about the dome. But I think the last one on the list, maybe it's not the last one. There's one in here, the 1940s living history one right here, I think. It talks about Admiral Byrd, and he had explorers going to Antarctica from all different areas, and they said the people that came from this one area found warmer land. What's going on out there? So if we go back to the images, maybe, just maybe, and again, anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is speculation. Maybe this is where we live. This is Antarctica. Might be 1,000 miles wide. And then out here is more water, more territory, extra terra, more land, extra terra. So if you lived on the extra terra and you came to visit me in here, what might I consider you?
An alien?
Why does everyone say alien? I was really hoping you'd get it. An extraterrestrial,
Okay.
extra terra.
Oh,
So now
okay.
alien and
Yeah,
extraterrestrial in your mind are the same exact thing, right?
Yes,
'cause
yeah,
that's what,
right.
yeah, same thing. But alien, a lot of people, when you get into this, aliens are demons and whatever. Yeah, whatever. Aliens and extraterrestrials are the same thing. But I like extraterrestrial because they come from the extra terra, just a couple thousand miles away, right?
That's interesting.
And where are they coming from? Well, if we're on the inner space, where are they?
Outer space.
Yes. Across the Earth plane. What if it's set up like this? And what if there's another sun that circles out here, a small local sun, and another sun out here, a small local sun? Okay? These are different worlds that don't know about each other. What if the Incas and the Mayas and everybody else, what if they migrated out south with their sun? Maybe their sun one day said, you know what, I'm going farther out. Okay? All of these things are fascinating. Another thing that we're looking into, and there's a great video, and when you're ready for it, I'll tell you where to find it.
All right.
But this is our world right here, the green. This is the greater world, which is all frozen. Anything outside of this white line here is Antarctica. This red line is our North Pole, right? Right here, our North Pole. And our North Pole is migrating. And as it migrates, the sun always circles the North Pole. So as it migrates, it takes its sun with us. And they say in the Mayan calendar, the great year is 25,000 or 26,000 and change. Well, every 2,160 years, the sun will move 15 degrees. Our North Pole moves and our land. So in 12,000 years from now, our world will be here. And this will be an ice age
world
over here. Ice world.
Yeah.
But that's a long time, right? Have you ever heard the word?
So how many years are you talking there?
I'm talking just to go 15 degrees, 2,160. So this is a long time because we don't know anything from before 1900. The whole story of the Wild West, all of it, it's nonsense. Okay, it's all absolute nonsense. Have you heard the word Tartaria?
No.
Tartaria. So right here, this button right here in the app, the mud floods and Tartaria. You hit that button. I always tell people bring food and water because you're not coming out for a long time. This in just a couple of videos. You start in the top, John Levy, right? He does these 20-minute videos every week. He starts pointing out stuff that's right in front of your face. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. Look, they're building these castles, right? When they had horses and buggies, and we couldn't build those castles today, right? None of this makes any sense. And when you start looking, you find out that there was an advanced civilization here in the 1800s. And there was some sort of reset that happened. And there seems to be a reset that happens like every 100 years. And it seems like we might even be going into something called the Great Reset. Not like anybody wrote a book on it called the Great Reset, right? You know about the Great Reset?
I've heard about. I don't know anything about it, but I have heard about it.
Yeah. So do you know who Klaus Schwab is?
No.
Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum. Just Google him and ask yourself, is this the most evil man on the world? Well, he is. Do you know who J.P. Sears is?
Mm-mm.
J.P. Sears, the comedian. No?
Nope.
J.P. Sears, look him up on YouTube, and then go back 4 or 5 videos to the most dangerous man in the world, Klaus Schwab. 15-minute video, basically in a comedic style, will bring you up everything that's happening in the world right now. It's fantastic. One of my favorite videos.
Okay. So
question.
let's I want to get into like some of the space because lately I've been following the James Webb Space Telescope.
Oh boy.
So how does that play into, because I mean, like I've seen videos of them launching the rocket, and then on top of that, like you've got like Elon Musk doing like Starlink, right?
Yeah.
So are you saying that like everybody's in on this and everybody's like trying to cover it up, or how do these events that I see going on in the world play into the flat Earth?
It's all made in a Hollywood basement. Yes, they do launch some things sometimes, right? Most of the time there's nobody there. But if this is a real thing going up, it's just a helium jet, a rocket with a lot of light, a light show, and it goes up and it crashes in the Bermuda Triangle, and that's the end of it. Then they show you a cartoon, okay? This is the actual launch of the James Webb Telescope. This thing, here's the story of the James Webb Telescope. It goes up into orbit. It deploys out of this rocket, okay? Mm-hmm. It unfurls its telescope, and then it travels 1 million miles and parks itself in a Lagrange point, right? Yeah. Where the gravity of the Earth and the moon and the sun hold it in the perfect spot, like a tug of war, okay? Meanwhile, we're corkscrewing through space. How is that even possible? So this is in real time. This is what they showed us. This is a cartoon you can see, right? Animated. So this is just an animation, right? And then they show us this. Look, this is just a cartoon that they're showing us, right? And people just eat it up, right? How did that thing go and find the Lagrange point? Is there any way to check it, right? And the first picture that came back showed the same star 18 different times, and they're like, "Oh, that's because we have to adjust each mirror to make it all one." Cool story, bro. Right? It's the dumbest crap ever, right?
So then how about because I mean, even in a flat Earth, there's still something above us, right? Like the sun is still above us, right? That's how you were pointing it out. So how does that what's above the sun then?
Anything above where we can reach, we can send balloons up to 120,000 feet. And when we do, we don't see this. We don't see curvature, anything. This is just, let this go for just a little bit longer. Let me just jump forward here. It goes, it somehow, so now it's here. It unfurls, right? It's showing all these people in control room, right? Now, are all of these people in it? I think so. But some of them could just be stooges, and they're all just looking at data. And one NASA guy that was interviewed from the Apollo mission says, yeah, we did the simulation so many times that when the real thing happened, we couldn't tell the difference. Think about that. Right? So this is what they showed us, right? And this thing unfurls, and then it still has to go 1 million miles and park itself, right? No one explains how that happens, right? So let me show you. This is the this is it deploying. This is what they showed us. Look at this. This is a cartoon. This is a cartoon.
Right.
Okay?
It's animated. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden there's this real footage of like the piece that's falling back to Earth. It's finding this, right? I'm just jumping forward here. And then watch it. It deploys right about there. Look at it. It looks like a wristwatch. I think they're laughing at us. I mean, they do the dumbest crap. And mind you, this thing still has to go 1 million miles and park itself. Then they show you some guy staring at a computer screen. None of this is real. None of it.
So then how about like some of the like pictures that they've taken from
of
like,
Earth, maybe?
No, not even Earth, like Jupiter and some of the planets that in the traditional indoctrination they've taught us that you've got planets rotating around the sun as well. And they have pictures of those things.
Just watch this. This is the deploy. This is the live footage of it deploying. Look at the footage. This is when it's just above Earth. And now it has to go 1 million miles away and park itself and send us high def pictures. Are you kidding me? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely kind of suspect. Like I agree that it's like they are just animations, and so it's hard to it's like hard to know who to trust, I guess. Like it's hard to know what they're.
So here's the most famous picture of Saturn. Everybody remembers it. The Voyager took the shot. Well, they didn't know that we can go to their website, pull it off, put it in Photoshop, crank up the levels, and see what a crappy job they did constructing this nonsense. Okay? This right here, if you know how images work, proves that it is a fake, 100% fake planet. This is what NASA shows us. But this is what every other telescope in the world shows us. Every other super zoom camera. This is what we see. What are these things? I don't know. They're named after gods. They used to be called wandering stars, and they're here within the Earth system. If you think about it, how do they look so bright in the sky, right? How does Jupiter reflect sunlight and look this bright? This is Jupiter. From 2014. No, this is Jupiter from 2014.
Yeah, the top one's 16, yeah.
2016, so 2.5 years later, two plus years later, they took another picture and they go, oh, look, we just found out that Jupiter has a molten magnetic core just like Earth because we see the northern lights. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this crappy job.
Yeah, it does look a little.
a little. I mean, you don't even need Photoshop to do this. You can do this in MS Paint, okay? But if you look at all of the images here, look at all the clouds. They're exactly the same. This one's just a little darker, okay? It's just a little darker, right? But meanwhile, people are like, well, the clouds really don't move that much. Oh, sorry. NASA showed us this years earlier. And look, the storm's going in different directions, right? This is just over a couple hours or a couple days, okay?
Yeah.
And then somehow, 2.5 years later, what does that show you? That shows you NASA is lying about the images of Jupiter. All right. NASA's lying about the image of Saturn. Right. Makes no sense. And then just Google NASA photo of Jupiter. Well, at a planet a satellite or a Voyager or whatever it was that took this picture, Cassini, maybe that's what it was, traveling at 60,000 miles an hour past Jupiter. was able to snap this picture with this desert, which happens to look like the dog Pluto. Is that just
Yeah.
me imagining it?
No, no,
Maybe.
I see it. I do
Yeah.
see it.
Maybe. But think about this. Look, and the more than not, they capture a full Pluto. Now, we see the sun in the sky about the size of a nickel held at arm's length, maybe a quarter, depending on how long your arm is.
Yeah.
If you're on Jupiter, how small is our sun going to look? And NASA has some images. I should pull those up. The sun will look like a large star, much smaller than we see it. Well, if
Right.
you're on Pluto, the sun's going to look like a
speck.
star. It's going to be a speck. How does that speck send light all the way to Jupiter? I mean, to Pluto. That light reflects all the way back to Earth. Oh, no, actually, I'm sorry. How does it light it up this bright? How did it get this image with a 4-megapixel camera?
Yeah, that's a good point.
A lot of good points. How about this?
Interesting.
How about this? You know, and it's tough. You know, there are people say, "Well, how can NASA fake things?" Look at this other planet. It's kind of an Earth-like planet, right? Now, people say, "Well, you know, the camera is jerky because of whatever reason," but in reality, this isn't a planet, and this isn't from NASA. This is just a dusty, dirty, paint-peeling tank with a fisheye lens. Okay, right? I don't need $63
Wow.
million dollars a day to do that. NASA gets $63 million a day, right? So another one which people say is, hey, the Earth is round, the moon's round, so the Earth is round, right? So I'm showing you 4 moons here. Is this moon a sphere?
It looks spherical.
It does look spherical, but if you can't touch it and you can't measure it, you don't know. Well, it's a half a sphere, so it's kind of a trick. How about this one? Is this one a sphere?
Again, same thing. It looks like a sphere.
It looks like a sphere, but it's not. It's flat. How about
Oh,
this
wow.
one? Look like a sphere?
Yeah. Yeah.
It does, but it's a bowl.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks a little concave, but I
Okay, so there you go. So when you're looking into the sky, unless you can touch it and measure it, you don't know. You don't know what it is. So I'm trying to. Here we go. I have to remember how the alphabet goes, so I know where things are. Sometimes I forget. Here is here's one. Which orange circle is bigger?
I think I've seen these. Aren't they the same? They're the same,
Yeah,
right?
they're the same. So that one's pretty good. How about this? Are these two tables the same width and dimension?
Yes, because it depends on the angle that you're looking at it at.
Right. They're exactly the same, but even
Yeah.
though I'm showing you, your mind can't
Yeah,
reconcile it.
optical illusion, yeah.
Yeah. So if you can't touch it and measure it, you don't know how far it is. People say that Venus is the same size as Earth, so when it transits the sun, they figured out how far the sun is. How do they know what size Venus is? How is Venus so bright in the sky? Well, it's close to the sun and it's reflecting the sunlight. You've seen Mars and Jupiter in the sky. They're really bright. They're brighter than the stars. And they're a dusty, dirty ball reflecting back sunlight. That makes no sense whatsoever.
I can see the logic there.
Right. If you actually look at Mars through a super zoom camera, this is what you see. That makes more sense than what NASA's telling us.
Wow, yeah, that thing, I wonder why it's moving so much.
Well, the camera's moving too,
Yeah.
but it's pulsing. It's you know, the optics. You know, looking at stars in the sky,
It
stars
almost
and
looks like a
planets.
liquid or something.
Well, I think that the space is liquid. This is the star Sirius, right? Now, in focus, not in focus. That's some people argue about it. I don't think it really matters. It's showing us what's really there. Okay, here's my favorite. This one is Capella. Look at this one,
Oh, wow.
right? And you could actually see this with your naked eye, right? On a clear night, find the Capella in the sky, look at it. You'll see, well, why is that flickering blue and red and green and yellow, right? And then you zoom in on it. And this is what you see, right? And here's another
Yeah,
favorite.
very
This is
interesting.
Arcturus, right? Now this one is super sharp. Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, what is going on
what
there?
are these things? Right. And that's a great question. And we can speculate all day long. Right. I think that the sun, moon, and stars have to do with all of the life on Earth. I think that maybe the stars are where souls hang out while they're not manifesting here on Earth. And I think that the moon has to do with the delivery and the removal of souls here on Earth. Sounds crazy, but prove
Well,
me
so
wrong.
how does that process work?
I have no idea, man. But if you look at, lots of ancient cultures, they talk about that. Think about
Hmm.
women's cycles, matches the moon cycle, right? They have 28 days,
Yeah,
and the moon is 28 days.
that's interesting. It's
It is interesting, isn't
almost
it?
like werewolf fairy tales they talk about or
Yeah.
something. Those are
So,
very interesting pictures, though. I wouldn't say I'm huge into astronomy, but I am fascinated by it.
well, astronomy is pseudoscience. Astrology is the real science. What? That sounds crazy, right? Astronomy, it would be real if they looked in, if they actually didn't just make up shit. Okay. Like if you could measure how far the sun is or how hot the sun is, that would be astronomy, but they don't. Okay. They don't. Um, Go ahead.
So is what
Question.
you're saying like because they come out with new science right all the time, like
Yeah.
the LIGO Observatory
The
claims
LIGO, the
right,
LIGO,
yeah,
right? So on the other side of the earth, a mosquito flapped its wings, and then we measured it over here. That is like way easier than what LIGO supposedly did. Okay,
hmm
it's absolutely nonsense, right? And if you look at what who said this? Hold on. There's Michio Kaku, one of the
yeah, I know who he
you
is.
know who he is.
Yeah.
He made the statement saying usually in science if we're off by a factor of 2 or a factor of 10, we call it horrible. We say something's wrong with the theory. We're off by a factor of 10. However, in cosmology, we're off by a factor of 10 to the 120th power.
Wow.
That's one with 120
Yeah,
zeros.
that's crazy.
Okay. That number doesn't exist. Okay. Right. They don't use any science. We're going to get into numbers in just a minute. And What is this one? Am I going? I disappeared somehow. Oh, here we go. Bam. I'm back. Right. All of the theoretical work done between the 1970s and hasn't produced a single successful prediction, says Neil, whatever his name is, director of
Perimeter Institute for
Perimeter.
Theoretical
Yeah, it's
Physics in
a little small.
Waterloo.
I got my screen too small. Um, so their theoretical nonsense is what we call science, astronomy.
Right.
It's pseudoscience. It's nonsense, right? People say, well, there's so many scientific facts that prove that the earth is a globe. I was like, can you give me one? They're like, well, physics. I'm like, no, give me one example, right? How do you have high pressure next to a vacuum? You can never experience, no one can ever show that in nature or in a lab where you can have a container of air next to a vacuum without a container, a volume of air, pressured air. We live in a pressurized system next to a vacuum. How's that happen? And the only answer you can say is, well, gravity. Gravity's holding the air down. So in your world, I can get a shoebox, put it in a room, suck all the air out of the room from below it, and gravity will hold the air in the shoebox up to the top.
Yeah, I see your point.
That doesn't happen.
So I guess it just begs a question like why? Like why go through all the trouble to like cover all this up and how many people are in on it and how many people actually know, right? And what's their motive to suppress this information? And then furthermore, why even spend billions of dollars on projects like Lego or like the
They
James Webb
didn't. They're
Space
just lying.
Telescope?
They're just stories. They're just stories. They don't. NASA probably gets $10,000 a month. Okay,
Okay.
whatever. I'm making the number up.
Right. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just taking our money from us, right? They're like, hey, you made 100 grand. We're gonna take 45 of it in taxes,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And at the end of
Yeah.
the year, we're gonna give you 4 back, and you're gonna thank us. Okay, right? So this is all just a scam. Money is a control thing. The people that run this world, they don't need money. They make money. They make the money. They just, anything they want, they can just get it. They just type numbers into a computer and they get it, right? So, what was the question you asked? Why the lie? But you asked something
Yeah.
else,
Like
and I pulled up the app to show you.
um, like how many people are involved in it, and what's their motive to suppress this information?
Yeah, the reason that they do it is because if they want you to believe that you're spinning out of control, lost in space. You're insignificant on an insignificant speck with trillions of other insignificant specks. So that's why I want to get into the trillions. And they want you to think that you're in a godless or distant God universe where an asteroid could take you out, where we're running out of water, we're running out of food, we're overpopulated. All of this is lies, right? The world's not overpopulated. There's no way there's 7.8 billion people like they say. And even if there were, every American can have a half an acre in Texas and there'd still be more land in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. And the rest of the country would be empty, right? It's a lie. There's infinite energy, there's infinite water, there's infinite resources, there's more land, there's more everything. And they don't want us knowing that. They want us thinking, oh my God, global warming, we're running out of food, we don't have any water. They want us in fear so they can control us. Now, how do they control you? They literally separate you from the creation. The truth of the matter is that we are at the center of creation, that our thoughts create our reality. And that's proven by look at everyone here, look at your life. Everything that you thought, everything that you think, you manifest into your life. If you have a negative attitude, right, you're going to have a negative life.
Agreed.
Right?
I agree with that.
And everything that you have in your life, like when you're like, you know what, I saw something, this is really something that's going to be good for my life. Bam, you make it happen. You bring it into your life. People go, well, I want $1 million. Well, when you say I want $1 million, you're saying, I don't have $1 million and I'm never going to get $1 million. And that's what you're really sending out there.
Yes.
Okay. It's not about $1 million. It's about what are you doing here? And they don't want you to understand that in us is a spark of the creator. Now, before I learned about flat earth, I was pretty much, evolution, Big Bang. I wouldn't call myself an atheist, but technically I guess I was. Right. I just didn't believe in any of the religions. And I'm still not religious like that.
Right. Yeah.
But when you understand that the Big Bang is a lie, and when you see through that lie, there's no other choice than to understand that there's a creator. Now, who's that creator? That's your own journey. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. It's none of anyone else's business. Okay. Now you can investigate any direction you want, but there's a creator that's here, and we're here at the center of creation. Now, who is that creator? We are that creator. We are part of the creation. Our soul is a piece of the creator that's in us. And we have one job here. Don't lose control of your soul. And there's rules here. If you murder somebody, you're going to lose your soul. If you do bad things, you lose control of your soul. If you willingly sell your soul, you lose control of your soul. You're supposed to be here expanding the mind of the creator, really enjoying this amazing place that we live in, and manifesting it, making it what it should be. And, imagine if nobody watched the news anymore and everybody just started doing good things. What would happen to the world?
A lot of good.
A lot of good.
That's fact.
Right. And the controllers of this world, nobody would believe in fiat money anymore. No one would believe in anything. And here's the thing. On my app, if I hit the little handshake, up comes the friend finder, right? And these are the people that are around me. It shows the whole world, but as it loads here, there's a lot of people. These are all the people that have the app. All of these people are smart, awake, aware people. They understand what's going on. They've unplugged from the matrix. You know what the matrix is? It's the heliocentric system. It's a prison for your mind. Look at Neo at the beginning of the movie and look at him at the end of the movie. Put them side by side. Okay. Flat earthers are the Neo at the end of the movie.
Right.
Okay.
The guy that can fly.
Yeah. Um, if you hit the little number button on the bottom, this is what's going on here. We're not nobody. We're not a bunch of lunatics, right? We're all over the place, and this isn't even all of us. These are just the people that have my app and have the friend finder,
Wow.
have put a username in the friend finder. There's far more than this. We're everywhere, even New Zealand. Look, we even have two in Antarctica, right? Here's one right there. He's at the Casey station.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's another guy that I
I
think he
thought we couldn't
deleted.
go down there though.
Well, there are people there in Antarctica working, but whether they know or not, they're along the shoreline. They're along the shoreline here.
Hmm.
Okay, but nobody can go to the middle because there is no middle. It's just the outer.
Right.
There's the outer, right? So here's what I tell people, and anyone in the crypto world that is unsubbing from you right now for having such an idiot on. I have an offer for them. I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for
Wow.
one proof of the globe, just one. But here's how the challenge works. Every day, there's a new video that shows up right here. You just tap that thumbnail, up comes the video. I do short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend, and watch that video every day while you're having your breakfast or whatever. You know, when you get up, hit that video. It comes on at about 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern. You can watch it anytime you want. If you missed them, you can just hit this archive button and go back for 3 years. They're all there. And just watch those for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you have one proof of the globe, send it to me and you win 3 Bitcoins. But before you do, hit the frequently asked questions button. And most of your questions are there. Hey, what about the Coriolis effect? What about eclipses? What about photos of Earth from space? That's a good one, right?
Yeah, those are great questions.
Yeah. But once you watch those videos, you'll start to go, oh, well, that one didn't work, right? Whoops. That's not what I wanted. This is me making Earth in Photoshop, and I did a better job than NASA. But which Earth do you like? These are some NASA Earths. Which one do you like? I'm a blue marble guy, if you ask me, because
Yeah,
it was on
yeah.
my iPhone, and I liked it. So
So I got a question. So what is there anything like let's like play the scenarios out, I guess. Is there anything that science could do that is makes it so blatantly obvious that it is a heliocentric or spherical that you would
how
that
can
would
we end the flat Earth debate today? Is that the question?
I,
Because we can.
not necessarily that, but like, is there anything that, and like on both sides, like, is there anything that, with more data, like if there's more science that came out that said, I don't even know how you would frame it, but is there anything that would, I guess, debunk, in your opinion, that would debunk your
Flat Earth.
yeah, like, is there anything
Yeah.
that could come out that's possible?
Show
that
us
could come out?
curvature. Well, here's the problem. When you have an optical horizon like we do on a flat Earth, weather conditions can affect that. A 6 foot tall person standing at the edge of calm water is required to have a physical horizon at just 3 miles away. Globe math says the horizon should drop 6 feet at 3 miles, so all of the water past 3 miles on a calm day should be hidden from a 6 foot tall person. Stand up taller, you can see a little bit farther. Okay, but there should be a physical horizon there. That's the farthest. If it was foggy, I might only be able to see a half a mile.
Right.
And then the horizon will be there because it's just blocked, right? The air becomes opaque over distance, right? Let me show you. I'll show you another one. This is interesting.
Well, so like this, for example, like what if Elon Musk, let's just use him as an example. He's trying to obviously go to Mars, and in that process, there have been talks about him creating like civilian rides into space. So if you get people that are taking these so-called rides into space,
Like
and they
Richard
come
Branson?
back, Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they come back and say, "I
So
saw the Earth from the vantage point of space, and
yeah.
I'm telling you it's flat,
So
or
we
I'm
have
telling you it's round."
billionaires in space. Ignore P Brain who made this video. He's
No, no,
spinning
no. I'm
around.
talking about in the future,
Yeah.
if it were to happen, like you have
Yeah.
passenger like spaceships going
Like where
into
they
plane,
can
like
take me up.
yes, yeah, where you
Okay.
can regular ass
So
people can go.
I have but I'm let me ask you a question. Do you believe that Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner are, of course,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you believe Roadrunner is real and was always trying to kill Bugs Bunny? What if I put you in a cartoon? I raised money and I could
Mm-hmm.
put you in the cartoon with them and Roadrunner tries to kill you. Would you then believe that Roadrunner is a killer?
Yeah, I see your
Because that's
point.
what you're asking me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is Richard Branson. He went up there. They supposedly had 4.5 minutes of weightlessness, but they never show us more than 5 seconds at a time. This is a zero-G plane
Mm-hmm.
doing a parabolic arc, a whole bunch of film, right? Richard Branson is on it. He's feeling, he can barely hold his stomach. He's about to throw up. But when you look at what happens, and then the other person they sent up was William Shatner. Okay. William Shatner, Captain Cook. They're in a studio here. These people are hanging from wires. He's just kneeling over there going, oh, wow, look, look out. And the reason they're looking out the windows is because on previous ones we go, why don't they ever look out the windows? They listen to us.
Yeah.
And now they're looking out the windows. Okay. So if you watch when William Shatner came down, this is him coming down. So supposedly a 94-year-old man just got slingshot, into high orbit, come down, slamming in the desert. Who's the first person that should greet him? Watch this slam. Watch this. Who's the first person that should greet him? Okay. Who's the first person that should meet him after landing like that? EMS team, maybe? Doctor? Make sure he's okay?
Yeah.
Right? Right? Watch it again. Okay? This guy just fell out of space. He slams into the desert. And the first person that he should see would be an EMS person. I used to run a school carnival. I had to have an ambulance there in case a kid hurt himself on a ride.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Slam. Right? But then what do we see? Where's my Shatner guy? I think it's right here. We don't even see real reporters. We see what happened. There we go. I don't have my whatever. It's just like Jeff Bezos is there. A couple bimbos are there. No even real reporters. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No reporters here. I found it. So let me jump forward. So he slams down, happens to land in a clear area, not on a bush. And then they come out. Look, you got a couple bimbos. You got a guy with a camera over here. William Shatner, he comes out. He's like, oh, hey, the guy would have shit himself and broken his back on that landing. Look, there he is.
Yeah, that's
William
a good
Shatner.
point.
And then if you listen to the dialogue, he is the worst. The worst. Not a single EMS person there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ridiculous. It's absolute insanity.
Wow. And I'm sure that we're just scratching the surface here, right?
We haven't even touched on what's going on, right? If there's so many things. I'm trying to find some screw ups. So here's these guys are flipping this. They're always on the space shuttle flipping the microphone around, flipping objects around. This guy goes floating around in the background. He's way down there. I zoomed in on him, and they forgot that the channel that's supposed to be hiding his harness and wire isn't hiding it. This guy's hanging from a harness. And the response from the NASA fanboys was, "Oh, they have harnesses to be safe." Right?
Yeah, that's interesting right there. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah. And now watch, in the script, this guy in the blue is supposed to flip his CGI
There it is
hat.
again.
He's supposed to flip his CGI hat and hand it to the guy in the green, and he's supposed to put it away. Now they're looking either through contact lenses or a screen behind the camera where these objects are. This hat isn't real. He moves his hand. He thinks he's passing him the hat, and he puts it away. Oops. I got it looping here. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you missed the script. The hat isn't real. It's called augmented reality. Okay.
Mm.
And they do this all the time. Now they mix it up. The ball is real. It's filled with helium, neutrally buoyant.
Yeah.
This, which disappeared, is not real. Watch it again. Here it is. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're talking to kids, and this is called augmented reality. They're just moving inanimate objects around in real time. Now they barely ever do these live things anymore because they always screw up. We catch them all the time, right?
Yeah. Wow. So you're saying that they're basically using augmented reality to explain all of these zero-G scenarios that they show.
Sometimes they're on a zero-G plane, and then they take all the clips and they put them together. Sometimes they're hanging on wires in a green screen studio, and they're pulling the space station through them. Yeah. They're literally, it looks like they're moving, but they're pulling the CGI station through their own position so they can hang and flip and turn and look like they're traveling through the station.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And then, once they fake it once, you know that you can unwind it all the way to when you go to the moon. His burger disappears, just like his arm disappears. Watch his arm when he goes around the corner. You can see this wall behind him through his arm because it's layered. You see that? I'll zoom in. Transparent right there. See him?
Yeah.
He's transparent. That is trickery. Okay? That is trickery.
So they just have a bunch of tech guys there just with a scene is what you're saying, setting all this up.
They do all sorts of crazy stuff. So this one, watch what happens to his coffee. He made a bag of coffee. The coffee comes out of sync with the bag.
Yeah.
See that? It's out of sync.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you've presented that's like, I mean, I can't explain them. I can't explain them at all.
Absolutely. There's so many. So many, right? And we're supposed to believe that this guy jumped out of the space station traveling 17,500 miles an hour and on his jetpack flew out there for this iconic picture. Okay?
Yeah, and that could be photoshopped or something right there, right?
It could be. I mean, it is. I mean, it couldn't be real, that's for sure.
Are those mountains down there? They're supposed to be mountains?
No, those are supposed to be clouds. I guess those are clouds. They never really tell us. There is no curvature. None of this is real. I mean, when people go, I've seen the space station cross over. Well, you're seeing a light brighter than any star in the sky. How is that reflecting light that bright back to your eye, right? And then it's traveling 17,000 miles an hour. So I watch it. It takes like 8 minutes to cross my horizon. Well, I'm in Connecticut. 8 minutes at 17,500 miles an hour should put it in California. Okay. But I can still see it. A 747 at cruising altitude is a tiny speck in the sky, which is it's about the same size. A 747 is about the same size as the International Space Station. The International Space Station is 50 times farther away. That's scientifically provable that you can't see. You can't see it. Its angular size at two times away would be too small. But 50?
Yeah.
You can't see it. It's a parlor trick. Why would they do this? It's all to make you believe that you're insignificant. It's to hide the creator. It's to hide more land. It's to control you. Guess what? All those blue dots I showed you on the map, they're not controlled anymore. They freed themselves from the matrix, the heliocentric system.
Yeah, that's a lot of people too. I didn't even realize that there was that many.
There's more, and it's growing faster and faster. Thanks to everybody out there that is sharing it with other people. Um, if I go back in the friend finder and I hit the number, a lot of people don't know, if you click this number right here, which we just went over 50,000, um, these are, there's people everywhere. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm assuming that on your app, it's not a globe. It's flat.
well, it's definitely flat, but we are using Google Maps to place people on it because
Yeah.
I can't afford to set up my own network like
Right.
that. So we are using them, and they are putting us where we are. Just the map is wrong, but it is a flat map, so that's good.
So how did the horoscopes play into it, or the zodiac signs?
Yeah, well, so the zodiac is right there. So right now the sun is it Pisces, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
the sun is in Pisces. As it spins, the sun will slowly fade back into the next one for about a month, and then it'll fade back into the next one for a month, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's how the sun is in the zodiac for about a month. The moon, on the other hand, where's the moon? The moon, on the other hand, where's the moon? I can't see the moon. Oh, there it is. It's just the opposite of the sun. The moon over here,
Yep.
it moves through its zodiac in like 3 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the stars are going a lot faster than the moon. So every 3 days it'll be in another zodiac. So I don't understand how astrology works, but it does work. And the rulers of this world, the billionaires of this world have astrologers. Okay. And how astrologers do these readings, they're amazing. If you go to a good astrologer, they know stuff. The elite do stuff on specific days, all based on astrology,
Mm.
right? We have, I don't know if you've heard of the Shemitah, right? Where the
Mm-mm.
the financial markets follow this, and the biggest Shemitah is coming up at the end in September of this year. And I don't know what that does to crypto. Does it make it go through the roof, or does it make it go through the floor? I don't, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know the answer to that.
Guess we'll find
But
out.
it's something to look into. So
Very
it's
interesting.
amazing. Listen, and what difference does it make? It changes everything. It centers you. It reconnects you with the earth. It gets you. Think about this. Close your eyes and think of all the motions that the earth is supposedly doing in the matrix system. You're unstable. You feel like crap. You're lost. Now picture the world stationary, firm. You're standing on solid foundation that will never move. You're connected to the energy of the earth. All
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden your spirit lifts. You get the energy back. You reclaim what God gave you. Okay? And it's a better world. And how does your life change? Well, guess what? My life changed, right? I had my own company. I walked away from it all. I'm doing this, talking to people like you. I'm having a great time. I'm really
Yeah.
having a great time. And I'm doing what I love, and I'm doing it. And it's good for people. People love this. My app, people go, "Oh, you're selling the truth." My app is $3. The server build, I just had that. For those of you that noticed, the server was down. I think it was this morning. Was it this morning or yesterday? This morning or yesterday morning? Um, I had to upgrade my server again. Okay. This costs thousands of dollars. All right. I have to keep upping these packages. So the app is $3. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. If you get the app and you hate it, it's $3. You bought somebody a beer, not even. Okay. But
Yeah, I agree.
everyone loves
It's
the app. Everyone loves the app. And then the app has a subscription. If you want to be able to message other people, right?
mm-hmm.
You can send out group messages. You can send out individual messages. You can see who's interested in, look at people's profiles. That requires a subscription. It's $11 for the years. Again, I relate it to alcohol. You bought a beer, that's the app, and you bought a margarita, and now you have a subscription for the year.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I mean, I always, I don't think it's bad to like promote yourself or promote your products. I mean, if it's
Well,
something you believe in, I think it's just part of like capitalism, right?
here's the
It's
thing. This is how I support myself. It's like having a plumber come to your house and do some work. Well, this should be free. That should be done for free. Plumbing should be free. No, this is anyone can afford it, even a homeless person, right? And I say this. if you're on your parents' account and you don't have a credit card or something, and I'm only for Android, by the way, because if you have an iPhone, you can afford it, right? If you have an Android
Yeah.
and you can't afford it, send me an email. Tell me your story. I'll give it to you for free. Okay.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Very
So
cool.
yeah. So that's, and here's the thing. I'm not here to sell apps. I'm here to give out information. You can't find it online. The app is the simple best way. If you don't
Yeah, I
want
gotcha.
to get the app, if you're not unable to, if you don't have an iPhone 6 or better or an Android with 8.0 operating system or higher, just go to flatearthdave.com. Tons of information there. It's all free. Okay. My interviews are there. This interview will be there. This interview already is there. There's all my short videos on my channel, DITRH, right here.
What does that stand for, by the way?
It stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. But if you listen to the trolls, there's some really nasty things that it stands for.
Yeah.
But it's Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. That was my original podcast, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, before I was a flat earther. And what I do here on the Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole channel is I got all short videos, 2 minutes, 5. If I do like a 6-minute video, people accuse me of making a documentary. All right. But I try to keep them all short, just short to the point videos. So like, just go start watching some of those videos. And then you're going to start wanting longer and longer videos. But in the app, if you hit the web button, this is one of my favorite buttons right here. The Lost History of Flat Earth. There's a whole bunch of videos in there, right? There's a whole bunch, all by the same guy. The first one is 5 hours. 5 hours.
Yeah, that's
Are you
a
kidding
long
me?
time.
But let me tell you what happens. I refused to watch it because it was 5 hours. But then one night I put on 11 p.m. while I was trying to just say, let me just watch a few minutes of this. Next thing I know, it was 4 a.m. And know what I did the next day? I watched it again. Everybody that watches it a second time. It's
Interesting.
that freaking good.
Wow.
And I don't recommend starting with that because your head will literally explode and you won't be able to talk. All right. But all my interviews are here. Like if we click that right now, look at the top one is.
Oh,
right
nice.
there.
It's ours.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so that'll be there and it'll work its way down the list. And I've done a few interviews, it goes
Just one or two.
Just one or two. I can't find the
Yeah.
bottom of the list because it keeps on going and it keeps on going. So all sorts of stuff. And a lot of people don't know. You can scroll down now. There's more stuff below. Tons of information. You don't need anything.
What is the app called?
It's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Long name. If you just go to flatearthdave.com, there's links right there, or you can scan this QR code, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You got to make sure it's by Blue Water Bay because there's already a knockoff Flat Earth Society one that is on Android, but that's not my app. So don't send me an email telling me my app sucks because it doesn't.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, Dave, I appreciate the time, man, and you definitely opened my eyes to a lot, and we'll have to do this again sometime.
Here's the thing. Belief is the enemy of knowing, but ego is the protector of belief. All right. If anyone is upset with you for having me on and it's like, I'm unsubbing you, you're a moron, take my 3 Bitcoins. Give me one proof of the globe because I swear when you look, that's how you become a flat earther. It's the people that don't look, the people that are like, flat earth is stupid. That's what you've been programmed to say, right? Go outside. And this is good. I think the moon is up during the day. Yeah. It's transitioning into night, but tomorrow catch the moon right when it rises. There's blue sky behind it. It's right here within the earth system. Okay.
I'll look
The
at that.
sun is here within the earth system. Oh, do we have a minute to show you one more thing?
Yeah.
So you asked me about the sun. Where is it? We can see too far. There it is. Oops. It's because I just moved my thing down. This is so. Again, there should on a curved Earth, the horizon should be at a set distance. The higher you are, the farther you can see. Not because you're seeing over a ball, which they've trained us to think, but because you're increasing your angle to something. The floor will ramp up to eye level, and that's where you can't see anymore. So here is Lucia, France. Out here is Mount Canigou, 175 miles away. According to Globe Math, the top of that mountain should be a mile below the curve on a ball based on this elevation and that distance, right? But remember, the sun migrates in between the two tropics. Well, twice a year, it lines up with Aluja, France, and Mount Canigou, the sun gets right in the middle. And as the sun moves away, all of a sudden it backlights the mountain. The light that was bouncing off the mountain couldn't make it to your eyes because the air is just too thick. It's like looking across a swimming pool, a long swimming pool. You can't see the other side, but it backlights it. The very top of this mountain should be a mile below the curve.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the globe explanation for this is, oh, the mountain is a mile below the curve and the sun has already set, but it's refracting up and stopping at eye level by magic. Right? They don't say by magic. They're saying, and that's what it does. That's retarded. Don't be a glober. Okay. Don't be a glober. Use your common senses, your God-given common sense. There's the mountain. It's not a friggin' mirage. It's right there, but you can't see it because the light that bounces off of it can't push back to your eyes.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting concept. That's yeah, I can't explain that. That's
Yeah, on a flat Earth, you can explain it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
that it makes sense. What you're saying makes sense because if the Earth is if the Earth is round, yeah, I shouldn't be able to see that horizon at all, or like those.
And here's the
mountains.
thing: anybody that's just like stepped into your stream because they wanted to see some hex stuff today, and all of a sudden they're getting flat smacked, and let's say I convince you a little bit. Don't go screaming to everybody you think the Earth is flat. Watch more of my videos. Get the app. Watch the videos there. Hit the frequently asked questions. Spend a couple of days or weeks. And then when you're ready, go to somebody and go, can you look at this and tell me where I'm getting this wrong? Don't throw it at them because they're going to come back and go, oh, you're a moron. They're going to try to make you feel like you're an idiot. Your ego is going to start protecting your belief. And then you're going to end up back, like in hell.
Well, before I like claim anything, or before I like make any, I always think before I act. I always do my own research before I adopt anything or like try and tell other people about it. I have to firmly believe something first. So like
Well,
that's my go-to process is doing my own
I got you.
research.
Belief should be based on knowing, right? You don't want to just believe. You want to know, right? And so again, you believe that boats go over the horizon due to curvature. Well, if there was curvature, they would go over the horizon. But is there another way? And yes, you can. Just on the app, frequently asked questions, hit boats over the horizon. Tons of videos there, right? One of the videos is called a Thea Princess Empty Horizon or something like that. 10-minute video. Then you'll fully understand what the hell you're seeing when you see a boat disappear into the distance. And again, why does it matter? Because this is where we are. This is who we are. Like if you lived in an apartment building that was 20 miles wide, 50 miles wide by 50 miles wide by 300 stories tall, but you weren't allowed to go the last mile to the outer wall. You lived in there. Everything's in there. Grocery stores, gyms, dating, movies, whatever. You live there your whole life and someone goes, hey, there's more out there. And you're like, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? I got everything I need. I work 9 to 5. I come home, I drink, I watch some sports, and then I go back to work. And then when I'm old enough, hopefully I'll have enough money to survive and I'm too old to enjoy it. Okay. That's what they want. They want you as a good worker slave. They want our energy. This is a spiritual war that people don't even believe is a thing. And that's how they get away with this. Crazy, right? Very
crazy. Yeah, no, that definitely resonates with me. I definitely know that there's a lot of like FUD that goes on and a lot of lies that happen too. I mean, this goes like you said before, before we started this conversation, this goes into the crypto stuff because like the traditional legacy financial markets, it's a lot of it's bullshit. A lot of it's just straight garbage. So it's like if they're lying about that, like what else could they be lying about?
Well, make one crypto comment and then a question for you. So people, said to me recently, crypto, what happens when the power goes out? Well, right now, the government can seize your money. They can freeze your accounts. They can tax it. They can take it out of your, without your permission. They're deflating it. And if the power goes out, your money is gone, right? If the power goes out for any extended period of time, when it comes back on, your bank is insolvent, right? Power goes out, what are you going to do? Go to the bank and they're going to write it down in ledger and hand you some cash, okay? Yeah. Crypto, especially, some crypto, especially if you have the private keys, which you should, right. if the power goes out, yeah, your money is gone. But when the power comes back on, your money will still be there, right? But that's the only way. So it's far, far safer. One of the big proponents against crypto is Mike Adams. He's been screaming about it for a long time. And last week or 2 weeks ago, he flipped. He goes, you know what? Crypto is way safer than fiat. Get all your money out of fiat and buy crypto. So I found that interesting. All right, big question. When's Pulse Chain launching?
Yeah, that is the big question. Don't have an answer for
sacrificed.
you.
I assume you sacrificed, of course.
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I want it to come out just like you. I'm on both. Yeah.
You're on both. I was talking to my good friend Robbie, and he's guessing end of the summer, I think. End of the summer.
I think it'll be sometime this year, but it's like, again, no expectations of profit. I just want him to get it right. I want him to get it right versus
that's
just
exactly
getting
what
it
everybody
out there.
says. Sure.
Yeah. I'd rather have something work with no bugs than getting it out there just to appease to the masses.
What about people that have not gotten in or I don't say missed, are not in Pulse Chain or not in Pulse Chain yet, or what I'm spacing on it. Pulse Chain and what's the last one? Pulse X.
Yep.
How can they get it? Is it too late to get into it now? Because one thing I noticed is the big money in crypto is made on people that get in early. On successful projects. Yeah. So is it still early?
Yes, it is still very early. The thing with crypto is typically with even like altcoins, you'll see big dumps. So we just had a coin come out built on top of Hex called Hedron, and it took a 90% dump. So there's still going to be plenty of opportunity to get into it. Crypto never goes straight up. It never also goes straight down. So there's going to be dips you can buy it at. And then also for Hex, you can just dollar cost average into Hex, accrue liquid Hex, or you can also stake it. And then you'll get copies of all that on the Pulse Chain.
Yeah.
Whenever the Pulse Chain goes live, then if you want to, you can swap your eHex into PHex, which then you can funnel into PulseX or Pulse Chain or whatever you want to do. And then actually, funny you should ask, is I just filmed before we had this conversation. I just filmed a video on a way that you can turn Hedron into a faucet for PulseX and Pulse Chain. So that'll be coming out in the next couple days.
Oh, it's not out. I was going to say, I haven't
not out
seen it
yet.
on your
Not
channel
out
yet.
I shot it today. I'm editing now. So
sweet.
Yep.
All right, everybody, subscribe and make sure you catch that one. That's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a banger. It's going to be I did another video recently. It's called the Hex Snowball. It's like basically creating yourself a money printer with Hex.
Wait, you're the one that did the snowball.
Yes.
The snowball where you basically laid it all out, and that's doing it over on Pulse, on the Pulse side.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched it twice. I took notes.
Yep,
I saw that. That was a while ago. That's like a month ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this next one is going to be, I would say, probably a better version of that. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I will feature it. Last thing. I don't know if you noticed. On the app. So, boom. On the app, if you hit the shopping cart button, where there's lots of friendly stuff, one of the playlists on here is Richard Hart right there.
Yes.
And up comes a playlist.
Love it.
Of my favorite videos on the topic.
Perfect.
And I will be adding that right to the top of the list when it comes out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Well, and again, why don't you drop your links? Where can anybody who's interested in Flat Earth, where can they find your stuff?
Well, everybody should be interested in Flat Earth, and you can find everything at flatearthdave.com. The app is there. The links to my channels are there. My interviews are there. Tons of information there. I highly recommend getting the app because what does everyone do in this world? We walk around with our mobile devices, and when we have 2 minutes of nothing to do, we look at it like, what are we going to find in here? Instead of looking at TikTok or watching the tickers on your Hex, or waiting. Learn something. Learn about who you are, where you are. Learn about this world. And I'll tell you one thing. Every flat earther I talk to I say, have you had a second of boredom since you became a flat earther? And the answer is no, not a second. Doesn't matter if you're stuck in traffic. Doesn't matter if you have insomnia. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You are looking at stuff. You are learning stuff. And your brain is actually thinking instead of stagnating.
Love that. Because, you know, if you're not growing, you're dying. That's for sure.
Yeah. So there was a lot we didn't get into, but we could go forever, and we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
So.
All right, Dave, I appreciate the time. And if anybody's interested in Flat Earth, again, you can visit his channel and his links as well. His channel is DITH.
No, flatearthdave.com. Flat Earth Dave. That's easy to remember. There's too many channels to give out. People say DITRH. They get it all wrong. Flatearthdave.com. The links are there. And
love it.
Scroll if someone is like, all right, I want more about Flat Earth. I don't have the phone to get the app. Go to flatearthdave.com, slow down, and it says Flat Earth Crash Course. There's a button there, and it's just a playlist of videos. I challenge anyone to watch the first 3 videos. They're full-length videos, 45 minutes, an hour, maybe a little longer. Watch them, get some popcorn, some hot cocoa, a beer, whatever it takes. Sit down, put it on the big screen. There's no possible way you can get through 2 of them and not have your ball destroyed.
Love it. All right, Dave, appreciate the time, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks. See ya.
Take care.